All right, very sweet. And so before we get started, folks, para las personas que necesitan interpretación en español, le voy a pasar a Dulce a que nos dé las instrucciones.
Awesome, thank you, Jennifer. To get the best experience in this call, it's best to have your own Zoom application downloaded on the computer. So I'm gonna go over this in English and then I'll go in Spanish, or a tablet. So if you're dialing in, you still have the chance, you still have time to download the application and then come back to the call. But if you don't, that's okay, you're already here. During this call, like Jenny mentioned, we will have a Spanish interpretation available for folks. To access, you're able to use the glove in your right lower corner of your screen. If you want to like jump in and out, if you're bilingual like me, sometimes I like to go to Spanish version. Buenas tardes, buenas noches a todos, bienvenidos, gracias por unirse a nosotros el día de hoy. Este programa comenzará en breve, como Jenny mencionó. Les queríamos mencionar que en el espacio sí vamos a tener interpretación disponible para aquellas personas que la necesiten. Y sí recomendamos para su mejor experiencia que tengan o la aplicación de Zoom o en su tableta o en su computador. Pero si no lo tiene, no se preocupe, puede seguir en la llamada. Para poder escuchar esta llamada en español, puede oprimir al icono que está en la pantalla de su computadora o tableta en la parte baja derecha de su pantalla. Y ahí van a aparecer un icono que dice Interpretation o interpretación. Y ahí es donde podrá usted acceder a la llamada en español. Si necesita ayuda, nos puede dejar saber en el chat y podremos caminarlo en cómo, o asistirle en cómo poder accederlo. Y eso es todo, se lo paso a Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. I'll pass it to you.
Muchísimas gracias, Dulce. Thank you so much. Y se me olvidó decirlo en español, pero quería recordarles que vamos a estar grabando esta sesión y también la vamos a estar poniendo en YouTube para que las personas que no pudieron acompañarnos ahora puedan ver este video. Así que nomás para que tengan eso en mente que va a estar grabando. Bueno, entonces we can go ahead and get started. Will the recording be available in Spanish too? That's a good question. No, I don't think we will be able to do that, Beth. But we will have this presentation in Spanish as well. So we'll be able to share that. But yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to. Yeah. Thank you for that question. All right, team. So really grateful for you all making time today and, your busy lives to be in community and to really talk about radical hope right now. I don't know about y'all, but like after COVID and after these last years, I have felt the like burnout. And it's been so important for us as a community to like really spend time building our resilience practices, really embodying hope right in this moment. We know we have a long journey ahead. And so with that, I really thank you for being here. My name is Jenny. I go by Jenny, but my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am the UndocuHealth program manager. And I'm really grateful to be able to host this webinar today and be joined by the amazing Irlanda. Landis, I'll pass it over to you to introduce yourself.
Gracias. Kamati, thank you. Feeling grateful to be here in Circle. My name's Landis, so Irlanda Pulido, Orea, Zarate Zaragoza, and it goes on and honoring all of my abuelas who are joining me in this circle. I'm here based in Tiwa Land, also known as Albuquerque, New Mexico. I wear many hats, probably like many of you. Gratitude for holding space as a teaching artist, a community organizer, a healing justice practitioner, and really just moving from a place of honoring heart, honoring our bodies, la conexión, the connection to our plant medicine, and to be able to imagine and to hold space with with comunidad such as this space. So I'm very grateful to be here in this circle with y'all, because that's how it feels right now. Even we're on the Zoom and computer, just wanting to invite us to visualize a circle that we're in and that we're around our fire, our fuego that we carry inside, that we're keeping lit as we hold space together. So gratitude for all the lands that have held me, from DC, Piscataway lands, to where I'm from of LA, Tongva lands, to where I am right now, and to my gente, to my people from Mexico. So gracias for the invitation, and I'm excited to be in the ceremonia, because that's what it is right now, together in the ceremonia, as we dive into this radical hope and these strategies. So thank you for inviting me to the space.
Thank you, Landis, for being here. Really excited to dive into the conversation. But before we do that, we just have some other community agreements to get through. So if we can go to the next slide. Yeah, and so at UWD, we really like to center, our community agreements when we share space. And so how do we want to show up for each other in community, right? These are some of the ones we've came up with. So, don't yuck my yum when someone's sharing something that they're passionate about, sharing that same energy with them. One person, one mic, assuring that folks have the opportunity to share. So sharing, but also retracting when needed, right? Respecting one's pronouns, of course. Throw glitter, not shade, similar to don't yuck my yum. Sharing that energy that folks are sharing. Also using, inclusive language. And also sharing confidentiality. We are in a safe space here, and everything that happens here stays here, right? And what's learned here also leaves here and is shared with our community. So if you all have any other community agreements that you'd like to share, please feel free to type them in the chat. But yeah, these are grounding principles and how we want to show up with each other. We can move to the next slide. All right, so today, what will we be covering? We went through the community agreements. We're going to move into a collective reflection in a body-centered practice that's going to be led by Landis. And then we'll end with learnings and some resources we'll share with all of you. All right, and yeah, I guess we can actually stop the presentation now. And I will hand it over to you, Landis, to get us going.
Thank you, gracias. It's beautiful to see. I'm kind of like, I have everyone on gallery mode, even though your cameras are turned off. It's okay. I'm here present with y'all. And as we dive in, I want to take a moment to ground ourselves, to honor our heartbeat, our corazón. And I'm inviting the sonido of the drum. So I'll be using different instruments throughout this time together. And really, before we go in, I know some of y'all are either leaving from work or en route to wherever you need to get to. So I want to take a moment and make sure that folks have access to agua, that you have water close to you. There was also an invitation to, if you have access to a velita, to also bring that into your space, and just wanting to invite whatever it is that you need to take care of you, do that. And I'm gonna go ahead, and before we start, I'm gonna invite the sound. I'm gonna invite the sound of the drum, and if it's okay, I'll kind of go in between Spanish and English for certain parts, but right now I'll stick with English. And taking a moment, if everyone, I invite you to hold your heart, however your heart feels in this moment. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this drum gently and invite you to take some breaths. We'll do three breaths together now. And if If you like to close your eyes, you can. I'm going to bring a sound. That's something that was shared. It's like, what sound do you hear? Of course, you're hearing the music, but also what sound do you have within you? And just take a moment to scan your body. What are your thoughts, your pensamientos? Inviting that peace, release. How's your heart pulse going? What's the rhythm that you're carrying in this moment? Inviting a breath for release. Just taking a moment to scan. Connection con corazón. Connection with our heartbeat. Allow the drum vibrations reach you to wherever you are. Bringing in that breath in. Taking in a breath. Hold. Release. Gracias, corazón. Thank you, heart, for making it to this day, to this place that we are in this circle. And just like our heart that is here in our center, we are also made up of water. And inviting this water that we're made up of, I'm going to invite the sound of agua. And as the sound of agua comes into this circle, into this space, we're going to continue into this grounding meditation before we get into this collective palabras or a reflection of what is, you know, why is it so important for radical hope to be in our movement spaces and the way we move every day with our people, with ourselves, with the land that we're walking on. So as we get there, let's continue to invite this body scan. And this time I'm going to speak in Spanish. Entonces voy a invitar el sonido del agua, el agua que somos, ¿no? El agua que tenemos en nuestros cuerpitos. Y mientras que el sonido de agua nos acompañe en este momento, tomando el tiempo de reflejar cómo está tu oxígeno, cómo está tu movimiento de espíritu, honrando tu día, agradeciendo el día que ha llegado, agradeciéndote por llegar a este espacio, este círculo. Y mientras que el agua nos acompañe, también observa si hay áreas en el cuerpo donde sientes un poco más de tensión. Solamente observando esas áreas, invitando cariño, invitando amor, invitando ese sentido de esperanza con esos suspiros. Y mientras que traes atención a esa área que tal vez te está echando un llamadito así, tengo un poco de tensión aquí, les invito que tomen su mano y lo pongan sobre esa área de tu cuerpo. Invitando que el agua apoya a fluir esa tensión. El agua y el suspiro, el aire que tenemos para también ofrecer un poco de relajamiento para arraizarnos ahorita en este círculo. ¿Sienten el agua? Porque yo sí lo siento. Gracias al agua que es vida, el agua que nos ama. Okay. And now I'll go ahead and begin in English again. So thank you for the water that accompanies us and that we are made up of, and that grounds us. And so in this moment that we're honoring the water that we are made up of, the heart medicine that we are made up of, the land that we are on. And now thinking, I'm going to invite us to visualize and bring our imagination into this space as we do some collective palabra time. And in this collective palabras, we're really holding, how do you, when you visualize a radical, hopeful future, just sitting with that, when you visualize and when you imagine, and you can close your eyes and visualize this radical, hopeful future, present, future, and past. Taking a moment with that. And what is it that comes? What are some visualizations? And if you could take a moment in the chat to kind of write a little bit of what is it that you are visualizing when you sit with a radical, hopeful future, present. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? Any of those senses that you want to invite into the chat. Comunidad viviendo con dignidad. Sí. Joy, laughter, sustainable environment, freedom to move. We're actually going to copy these palabras to remember them. And we're going to create something really beautiful when thinking of these collective envisioning and imagination and really putting forth across where everyone is, across these tierras. Calm, clarity, safety, yes. And we're gonna just sit with this time of really sharing palabras and sharing our thoughts, right? Comunidad and unidad. And as folks continue to share what you are envisioning, right? When you close your eyes, I'm gonna pose this other question, this other pregunta. And when you think of your community, this collective of comunidades across these tierras, what are ways already that your community, your kin, the ones who are you are around, close and afar across these fronteras, what are ways that your comunidad have embodied hope, this radical hope and care during these challenging times? What has been ways that your comunidad have embodied this? Community care, what does that look like? What does the community care look like? What have you seen? These ways of connecting to our cuerpos and to each other. Because I can say to be hopeful, pues si toma trabajo, it takes work, it takes this practice to walk con esperanza, to walk with this way of seeing another future for our peoples. Conocer los vecinos, sí, servir, conectar, apoyo, solidaridad. If anyone wants to also turn on your mic and say these palabras, it's an invitation to invite your voice, to invite your voice, understanding one another and no judgment. Yeah, coming together to find solutions. it's beautiful to kind of create this collective poema. You can, a collective poema, these words that we're all weaving together, to really put light to what's already in existence, right? What's already here now. And how in these momentos that feel challenging, that are challenging, right? That do bring us down. Like Jenny was saying, this reality of burnout, this perhaps even experiencing the challenge to get up out of bed sometimes, and to like move each day with this ganas, but also weaving in, what does hope mean? What does it mean? How does it feel? How does it taste? Thank you. So understanding one another, grupos de vecinos, yeah, putting light on vecinos, yes, providing meals when one is sick, peace, justice, joy, love. Thank you for being in the circle, this compassion and liberation and unity to really like, ooh, I could feel the liberation within here, this ojo, and in our sonidos, in our throat. How do all of these words, as people are sharing what you envision and what you see in your community, how are all of these words landing in your body in this moment? Where are they landing in your body, in your spirit, in your heart? Esperanza es la fe que tenemos en lo positivo que sucede. Sí. Right now it feels kind of like glitter bombs. Like all of these palabras is just like, ooh, like, okay, it's landing here and here and in the heart and over here in the cabeza. Taking a moment. Yes. Like warmth. Then the next question, in terms of like this collective circle of really thinking why, por qué, why is it, so important to move with this sense of like radical hope, for our movement spaces, for our inner work? Why is it important? When we think of just the palabras radical, what does that mean? To really radiate vision, right, of possibilities beyond what people constrain in cajas and boxes. I don't know how to off-mute people. Okay. Yeah, if anyone wants to share verbally, no sis, I don't know if I have the power to do that.
Folks should be able to unmute yourselves.
Okay, cool.
You.
Yeah. So right now, just we're gonna take a few moments to think about. The question is really thinking like, ¿por qué? Why? Why is it important to move from a place of one of the places, right? I know we're moving from many places, but thinking of these momentos that can feel challenging, that can also feel heavy, to really hold close this feeling and the weight of like radical hope in the sense of re-envisioning, right? And moving from this place of esperanza. And we've already named so many reasons why, right? That connection to vecinos, that connection to each other, feeding each other, not just comida, but feeding our spirit, right? Feeding our cuerpos. And then thinking about this connection to our bodies, to the water that we're made up of, to our blood, to the oxygen. That's all connected to tierrita, right? Inviting this florecita that is accompanying us, when the flower blooms, right? And thinking of also la mariposa, right? Papatlo, that accompanies during this time of really transformation, and thinking of What are we working towards transforming in order to envision? So thinking of, as we're sharing this moment of what we each bring, we don't do any of this alone. And also, like, who are the people that our ancestors that are in this circle también, right? Some folks who we're doing a lot of the aprendizaje, right? Some of the intergenerational healing as we're walking this camino, across these fronteras and across these lands, to really witness each other from a place of love and joy and liberation. And also like this, where does the esperanza, where does it land in our cuerpos? Because as we dive into this, collective palabras and reflection and where it's landing in you, I know for sure that it takes a lot of strength, a lot of power, to think of like, okay, this ritual of practice that it takes to continue moving from that place. The ritual, what's your morning ritual? Have you had any water today? What kind of abrazos have you given yourself and your comunidad, to really walk in this camino of seeing each other and holding each other and uplifting the work that's already been in existence. So wanting to invite all the fuego right now and all the medicina to celebrate all the trabajo that has been in existence in order to continue. I'm going to just take a moment, because I know I've been kind of sharing palabras. I'm going to take a moment to invite this medicina, invite a breath, allowing all of that's been shared via the chat and with each other, inviting all of that to land. And to know and to trust that moving collectively across these lands that carry so much power, so much love. And I'm going to invite a canción. When thinking of strategies, like what are these strategies that we're working with to move from this place? This is one, right? To be in circle, to see each other, to hear each other. I know we're doing this like via chat, but I could feel us, and to also share our medicina, right? The medicina that you carry within yourself. So as we continue to sit with this collective palabras and reflection, and honoring the practice that it takes to walk this camino, like all the props and fuego and love to be in these movement spaces, and to recognize that this is very important, to come together and to tend to our corazón, tend to our oxígeno, and to our water, honor the ways that you already are doing it, but how beautiful it is to do it in circle and together. How powerful, how necessary, to know that we don't do any of this on our own. I'm going to invite us, if you have a glass of water, I'm going to invite us to take a sip of water together. And as you invite this agua, as you invite this water to go into your being, invite that form of reflection, and just let it go through all your organs, all the way to your panza, to your belly, down to your feet. And I want to invite a song that is in connection to Papalot, La Mariposa. And when thinking of the representation of migration, and also how La Mariposa has represented in so many ways of this work for los derechos, you know, de indocumentados, de la comunidad indocumentada, la comunidad inmigrante. And thinking of that connection to our Pachamama, to the folks who, you know, I say folks, but Papalot, you know, to this other being that holds us. And the power in canción, you know, just like we sing our chants, just like we're in the calles and we have these songs and these chants that we repeat, thinking of the power of cantos. I want to honor the Calpuli Scali that I'm a part of here in Tiwa lands. I also want to honor La Escuela Xochimetzli, también Maestra Silvia, mis maestras, Maestra Sonaí, who offer these enseñanzas, these teachings of these cantos to recognize that we are still here, to remember we are still here. And if it's okay with you, I'm gonna share this canción. And as I share this canción, I invite you to imagine a beautiful, beautiful mariposa, you know, and thinking of, there's this palabra in the song called we. The canción goes we, and we means very large. Papalo means mariposa. And yolo means heart, which we've grounded with our corazón, yolo. And intlacote means close and near. So this energía that even though we're, you know, virtually here, que nos sentimos, we are close. And I'll go ahead, I'll send this song later for folks to share, and to also think of this practice of guided práctica to also be shared in your circle and comunidad. So let's take a moment to ground in our corazón. And after this canción, we're actually gonna go through a body practice. I'm also a body worker. I believe in the power of touch and the power of and healing that is our touch to ourselves. And we'll move into that in a little bit in that practice. Okay. Way, papa, no. Way, papa, no. Yolo, papa, no. Intloque, nawake, intloque, nawake. Yolo, papa, no. I'm gonna do this 3 more times and honoring the directions and honoring where we each are and honoring our gente, cross these fronteras, cross these lands. And if you feel like you want to invite your voice, please, I invite you. This is a way to also loosen up here, right? What we carry in our garganta, and to invite our corazón and the beauty and sanación and healing that is canto. As a strategy, as a practice to bring us in this camino. Way, papa, no. Way, papa, no. Yo no. Papa, no. Intloque, nawake. Intloque, nawake. Yo no. Papa, no. Way, papa, no. Way, papa, no. Yo no. Papa, no. Intloque, nawake. Intloque, nawake. Yo no. Papa, no. Way, papa, no. Way, papa, no. Yo no. papalo, papalo. Intloke, nawake, intloke, nawake, yolo, papalo, yolo, papalo. One more time. Way, papalo, way, papalo, yolo, papalo, papalo. Intloke, nawake, intloke, nawake, yolo, papalo, papalo. Imagine the rattle, la sagrada sonaja, starting from your head, from your crown. Invite you to put your hand on your crown. Just through visualization, inviting this movement to go through your ojos, your eyes, down through your mouth, through your throat, across your ears, down your chest, inviting that breath close to your heart, down your panza, your belly, inviting that breath down to your knees, all of our joints that lead us down to our pies, our pies, our pies. Bringing awareness, how did that canto land? Where did the mariposas go? Where are they landing? Are they here with you? Here, here. And if anyone would like to share in the chat, anything that's coming up in this moment or through your palabras, voice, before we get into the body practice. A lot of the palabras that are shared around body touch and healing is somatic practices to address any tension, any stress. Also to just hold each other close and afar, to honor sometimes what is landing in our cuerpos that is from before our time, antes, you know, and we're here present doing the work to do a little bit of that release. And to have our alas, right? To have our wings open up. Yeah. Calmness as well. Yeah. That's how I feel too when I see a mariposa flying around, just like the easefulness and you know what they provide, this medicina that they provide. And also thinking of what she teaches us, you know, what is invisible, what is visible, thinking about listening and that gentle way of listening in the wind. Yeah, thinking chills. Yeah, what's moving? El escalofrío. Maybe things I need to move through. Thank you for sharing that. Maria. You know, and thinking of things that are unsaid or overlooked and just wanting to honor through canto, because that is a medicine that I carry so close to support. That is a way to hold each other, whatever cantos that is. If that's like, you know, you're rocking with Bad Bunny and you're singing that canto from deep in your spirit. The canto that is you are humming too, you know. Is it Ana Gabriel? Tal vez too, you know. Some Selena, lo que sea, the cantos that really lift you up and ground you to continue. The cantos that we create together. What are these new songs? Which song is in movement spaces to uplift and lift each other, our spirits up in moments that can be very heavy right now as we prepare in this realm of the current political climate, and also what we're leaning towards of how our people have been holding each other and all of these olas, all of these waves. Yes. Yeah, for a very long time. Danza, cantos, semillas, you know, these things, these herramientas, these tools that have been, you know, tried to be taken away from each other and to return to. Just like this relationship with touch, you know, our consensual touch, honoring any, you know, this any tension, but also the healing. Where does it land in your cuerpo? Any you know, the honoring the reality of the waves, you know, of generational trauma, intergenerational trauma that has existed in our lifetime. Per capitalism, per, you know, all of the isms that put all of that in our cuerpos, you know, and to hold on to our power and to our poder and to our agency, to see each other in this moment. And we're gonna, if folks feel good, we're gonna do a practice that just focuses here on our head. On the next session, we're gonna focus on our panza and our heart. But for right now, we're gonna focus all around here, and it's gonna require our manitas. And if you are around, if you do have a vela in your space, you know, I invite you to have your vela and kind of just put your hands around that vela to receive some of that heat. If you don't have that vela, which is okay, and if you do and you don't, I invite you to rub your hands, which will generate that heat, which will also generate that oxygen. Inviting that breath, inviting this self-consensual touch. Do what feels good for you always. If this doesn't feel good, that is okay. If you just want to give yourself an abrazo, that's okay too. And just leaning towards this practice of a beautiful, powerful strategy of taking time for ourselves. So we're going to separate our manos. And we're going to co-regulate together. You know, this power of co-regulating in this space to hold each other. And we're just going to start by gently inviting that breath and gently going over our face with our fingertips. Bringing awareness to our ojos, to our eyes, what we have witnessed over time. Being gentle, inviting that breath. The fingertips over our cheeks, over our jaw. The words that we have spoken, or the words that have been spoken to us. Down the neck, being gentle with our fingertips. I'm going to do that 2 more times, just very lightly over our face. Over our eyebrows, bringing in that awareness of gentle touch. Inviting ease, inviting release. Down our throat, bringing in that breath. Inviting a palabra on this next go around of our fingertips going over our face. Invite a palabra or a word that you like to offer up to yourself in this moment of connection to esperanza and to envisioning a collective way of movement, in this way of striving for liberation and joy and love, and what we see, what we hear, what we speak. Being gentle all the way down our throat. And we're gonna go ahead and rub our hands again, inviting that fueguito. Maybe noticing what you feel in your cara, what you feel in your face. With this gentle touch. And we're gonna cup our hands like this. We're just gonna cup them over our eyes. Inviting that darkness, the magic that is in darkness. Inviting that breath to relax our eyes, what we see every day. Maybe you've been on the computer, maybe you've witnessed something very painful. Bringing some of that peace, that release. Now we're gonna go ahead and cup our ears. And as you think of your ears, think of all the sonidos, all the sounds that you're surrounded with, and perhaps words that have been hurtful, sounds that have caused any tremble. Just bringing some of that cariño, some of that abrazo or that hug to your ears, inviting sweetness, inviting love, inviting esperanza, hope to enter through these vessels, to then travel to our mind and travel down through our throat, down to our heart, to all of our airways and our blood vessels, to our panza, down to our feet. And go ahead and again invite this rubbing our hands gently. And we're gonna do some light tapping. Just do some tapping all over our cara. We are not going deep into this practice of tapping, which connects to this practice called emotional freedom tapping. And we're gonna be gentle in sending these taps to any areas of our cuerpo that calls for release. And tapping also somewhat turns on like this signal to any of our stress sensors in our cuerpo. All the way down, back to our heads. And then you're gonna just hold the base of your neck. And you're gonna hold the base of your neck kind of like this. Just holding your neck. Oh, bring in that breath. And in this moment, because I know we're coming to a close soon, I'm gonna invite folks to invite a sound. Loud, gentle, however it feels for you. And as you kind of sweep, you're gonna do a little sweep down your neck. So as you kind of come down your neck like this, all the way to your collarbone, bring in a breath in, and on that release, inviting a sound. We're gonna do it one more time, but this time from here, from our ojos. We're gonna do a nice sweep through our cheeks. Looks kind of funny, but it feels really good. Down our cheek. We're gonna hold our chin. Do a little soft circles here. All the way down here to our ears, soft circles. And once again, inviting a breath in. On the release, we're gonna go ahead and make a sound. Just do a nice little sweep or a nice little limpia. Down from our heads to our cara. Invite you all the way down from your brazos. If you're able to stand up, all the way down your cuerpo. Rub your lower back all the way down to your knees, to your feet. Doing a nice little sweep, a nice little limpia. All the way down to our caras. And then I'm gonna invite folks
to open up our arms, imagining these alas, imagining these wings that we carry. Ooh. And we're gonna bring in a big abrazo to ourselves. Maybe crack your back a little bit. And the gratitude of co-regulating together, that power of co-regulating as a strategy to continue this camino and this movement spaces. And before we exit out, before we transition out, I wanted to take a moment and invite folks to turn on your cameras if you feel comfortable, or to just like read each other's names and see each other in this way. And we're gonna go ahead and end with some affirmations, and it's 3 of them. I am present, I see you, and we are here. And we're gonna start with just a snapping our hands, and repeating, I am present 3 times. I am present, I am present, I am present. And the next one, we're gonna tap our hearts. We're connecting with our corazón. We're gonna say, I see you. So I see you, Dulce. I see you, Jenny. I see you, Eileen. I see you, Catherine. I see you, Maria. I see and feel you, Martin. Henry. I see you, Beth, Ceja, Yasmin. I see you, Juana. I see you, I see you, I see you. All of the folks who are in the space. Ana, Gabriela, I see you. Juana, I see you. Monse, I see you. Mari. And thinking of the folks who are here in spirit with us, we see each other. And then we're gonna end off with just a little shake, kind of like. And the last one is, we are here, estamos aquí. We are here, we are here, we are here. So 3 times, we are here, we are here, we are here. Ooh. Yes, and just how the invitation of water, I'm gonna just close off with a little bit of agua, and inviting folks to drink some agua, and inviting folks, if you want to share in the chat, what resonated with you, how did this land in your spirit as go ahead with this practice. Gracias. And knowing that all of this is ceremonia, this work and movement work is ceremonia and is ritual and is strategy and is practice to walk with this radical hope and re-envisioning and imagining ourselves moving from that place. And all of these practices of co-regulation, of honoring our breath, of sharing what our communities are doing already, what we hope for our communities to continue to do. And to know that now, you know, as we continue to go into our trabajos, into our work, you know, this power of circle and fire and this connection to wind, to the elements, that we are connected to the earth. And I thank you, Jenny. I thank you, United We Dream, for inviting me. And I look forward to holding space in September to move through these other areas. Yeah, inviting lágrimas. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And to think of what we have here, what we just focused on here is our mente and our thoughts. What we're gonna focus on next time is also how this lands into our belly, into our gut, into our lower back. And thank you so much. And we're going to, if we're able to, Dulce, copy the palabras so we can share that and create something beautiful. Yes, to lágrimas, lágrimas, lágrimas. Because honestly, what my mommy used to tell me is like, it's como exprimiendo, like we're squeezing like an orange, right? And when we squeeze, how much deeper we can breathe, and to be able to invite the breath even deeper to continue this work. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, Landis. If everybody can extend some gratitude, some love on the chat for Landis. I know I definitely needed that. You know, it's hard to do this work and it's hard to stay hopeful. Honestly, hope is a daily practice that we need to cultivate and continue cultivating together. And we do it through these spaces, right? So thank you for making time today for yourself. These spaces are part of the liberation work. They're part of the revolution. We cannot get to change to liberation without our health and without first acknowledging our humanity first, right? And our wholeness. We first got to recognize that within ourselves, right? And so thank you, Landis, for honoring that, honoring the medicine within each one of us. I see a lot of love on the chat. Dulce, if we can share the screen real quick. I added here a small toolkit that I'll be sharing with you all via email. I know we don't have a lot of time, but you'll have access to it. Just some tips and tools on how we can integrate collective practices that will sustain us for years to come, right? So let's go to the next slide. Yeah, shout out to Dulce too for holding on the tech. Yeah, folks, so please continue to be engaged with us, continue to be in community with us. You can do so by signing up to join more UndocuHealth webinars. Text UHealth to 78757 and we'll keep you updated. We want to create these spaces continuously. We know it's needed, right? Also check out the website undocuhealth.com. We have amazing one-pagers, toolkits there. We also have a mental health directory with different therapists who have volunteered to support us, even if you don't have insurance. So please take advantage of the resources we have in the collective practices we have already, right? We're already there. We're already doing it. You can also, like, if you want to stay engaged and just get some mental health reminders every month, you can text love notes to 78757 and we'll send you some cute tips and tools that you can integrate into your daily life. But thank you all so much for being here and join us next time, September 26th at the same time. So very excited and grateful for each one of you.
Gracias.
Thank you. I'm going to hang in here if anybody has any questions.
Thank you to our interpreter. Appreciate you.
Yes, shout out to our interpreter, Henrys. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Dulce, were you able to copy the palabras?
I believe they stay saved in the chat, group chat now. It's like one update that Zoom did.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool if I could get them, if you could email me them so I could kind of play with those words for what I'll share later.
Let me double check that, because usually, let me double check that they do, that they are. Before we.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, how can we copy and paste? Pero no sé. Or I guess you could do like a screenshot.
Yeah, I think it saves it, right? Dulce, the transcript.
Oh, nice.
I know,
Okay, cool.
I know some do.